Hey guys, so a new update just dropped recently, so we'll just go over it real fast. Oh hey, a survey, that's new. Well, whatever. So, we have a new selection pack and new secret pack, so they're getting a bit better at adding new secret packs. Like, yeah, how were you going to build Libromancer when there was only a selection pack like a billion years ago and all of the cards are now in the master pack? Yeah, not really easy. So they added a new solo gate. This one is the Bujin one, I believe. And then we have new accessories. So we have limited time stuff. I'll probably pick it up later, just because, I guess. And then on top of that, we have a new card that the TCG does not have. Anyway, Promethean Princess Bestower of Flames. I mean, the art looks cool and all, but yeah. Nothing super interesting, I don't think, in this selection. So, we'll take a quick look. So, the secrets, though, actually. So this one is Libromancer, and this one is Goatee and um, uh, Ice Jade. So, that's cool, I guess. And then, was there a different archetype in here or something? No, it's just some cyber stuff with Libromancer. Alright. And then here we'll have all of our new cards. So let's sort by new and start going through them. So we have some Sulfur support, I guess. Grand Sulfur Coolia gains 100 attack for each face of Pendulum Monster in your extra deck. The activated effects of Pendulum Monsters this card points to cannot be negated. Cannot be negated. The activated effects. So does that mean the activation can be negated but not the effects? Every single effect like this hurts my head because of this. Yeah. The activated effects of Pendulum Monsters this card points to cannot be negated. No. It seems like the activations... Can they be negated?
What?
The activated effects of Pendulum Monsters this card points to. So, if you try to negate the activation, I think you can't. If you try to negate the effect, you can't negate the activated effect, but you can negate the continuous effect or something. Like, alright, I just hate this whole, like, wording of this. It's annoying. But I'll figure it out one of these days when I probably won't, but maybe I'll play against Grand Sulfur Coolia, maybe. Once per turn, when your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, you can special summon one Sulfur with an odd pendulum scale from your pendulum zone to your zone this card points to, and if you do negate the activation, then you can... Wait, what? When your opponent activates a card or effect. This is an Omni negate then, isn't it? Huh. Alright, this is like a Baron negate type of deal. To your zone this card points to, and if you do negate the activation, then you can add a Sulfur Pendulum with an even pendulum scale from your deck to your face up extra deck. So this seems like it could get you a lot of material. Actually, I might end up playing against this then. Huh. Then we have Teller Knight Tomias. This card is not new, I believe. This was just taken off the ban list. So, once per chain, you can detach the materials from this card. Special summon from your extra deck one XYZ monster that is one rank higher than this card, except for a number monster. By using this face-up card you control as material, this is treated as an XYZ summon. So I don't know exactly what that would trigger, but okay. Transfer its materials to the summoned monster. You can detach 7 materials from this card. Skip your opponent's next turn. Once per turn during the end phase, you can attach one Stellar Knight card from your deck to this card as material. So, in the same, like, kind of selection, I guess, we also have this card. So, I don't know if this means anything. But, this can attach itself as material to a XYZ monster you have, right? Yeah, it's the pendulum effect, which is weird. But I mean, maybe that can contribute. It's also like a rank 4. Maybe that can contribute to Tomias's material to get 7 materials to skip your opponent's turn. Maybe. Not 100% certain how you would resolve Tomias's effect to skip turn, but skip turn seems like a pretty strong effect. But I mean, the conditions, I don't know if it's easy to meet it or not. So then we have Constellar Caduceus. So this card can target a Teller Knight or a Constellar card in your graveyard, add them to your hand. And it says and or, so you can target a Teller Knight and a Constellar card. So you can add 2 cards to your hand off of this potentially. And then banish a Teller Knight or Constellar monster from either your hand or deck. And then you detach 1 material from this card. This effect becomes that banish monster's effect that activates when it is normal summoned. So that's pretty interesting. So this just is like similar in value to like something like a Rhoda, kind of like, because you can activate your Teller Knight or Constellar Knight effect from like if it's in deck, you can just banish that monster from your deck, and then you can activate the normal summon effect of that monster. So that's got value, but it doesn't fully copy its effect. I'm not sure if that's completely relevant or not, or if like Teller or Constellars have any effects where that matters. We have Tri-Edge Master. So Tri-Edge Master is a weird Synchro 6. This card is Synchro Summoned. You can apply the appropriate effect based on the levels used for its Synchro Summon, or if you use 3 or more monsters as materials, apply all these effects in sequence. So 1 and 5, destroy 1 other card on the field. 2 and 4, draw 1 card. 3 and 3, treat this card as a tuner. If you use 3 or more monsters as materials, you can apply all 3, of course, so you can destroy 1 other card on the field, draw 1 card, treat this card as a tuner. You can do all 3. Great. The effects are not, like, super great, so, like, we can call this, like, I don't know. I'm just thinking of something, but I'd tie this to Laplacian. Like, this is just crappy Laplacian, really. That's one way to look at it, I'd say. Yetagarasu, it is going to be in the game now. This is just another old card that was unbanned, put to 1. Yeah, I don't think it really does anything, but essentially it's a spirit monster, and if it attacks your opponent and deals damage to them, then they don't draw next turn. So, yeah. I mean, how is this ever going to be relevant nowadays? Probably never. And then this card is actually pretty crazy, just randomly. So, I mean, I don't know exactly how you would build a deck around this, but yeah. We'll try reading this pretty easy to read name. Sumuha Kutsunagi, the Lord of Swords. Cannot be special summoned. You can tribute summon this card by tributing 1 normal summon / set monster. If this card is normal summoned or flip face up, activate this effect. Your opponent can send any number of cards from their field to the graveyard. Then each player draws the same number of cards as were sent to the graveyard by this effect. But why would your opponent willingly send cards from their field to the graveyard? So it's completely optional for your opponent to send. So they can send anywhere from 0 to like 10, right? Well, during the end phase of the turn this effect was activated, shuffle all cards into the deck from the field, the graveyards, and that are banished. So this shuffles from everywhere except from, like, hand, basically. And, yeah. Everything will get shuffled back. Doesn't matter if it's, like, banished face down, for example, it will get shuffled back. And, yeah, this applies to both players, right? So, pretty interesting there. Once per turn during the end phase, if this card on the field was normal summoned or flip face up this turn, return this card to the hand because it is a spirit monster. So, this seems like pretty cracked as a spirit card, of course. And then we have Sakitama. cannot be special summoned. Once per turn during the end phase, if this card was normal summoned or flip face up this turn, return this card to the hand. You can only use each of the following effects. If Sekitama once per turn, you can reveal this card in your hand. Immediately after this effect, resolves normal summon one spirit monster from your hand. If this card is tributed, target one spirit monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand. Of course, this can add itself when it is tributed. So it just does a bit of looping. I'm not sure exactly all they do, but pretty interesting stuff overall. Constellar Teller Knight. When this card is activated, you can special summon a Teller Knight or Constellar monster from your hand or graveyard. You can target a Teller Knight or Constellar XYZ monster you control. Special summon from your extra deck one Teller Knight or Constellar XYZ monster with a different rank. By using that XYZ monster you control as material, this is treated as an XYZ summon. Transfer its materials to the summon monster. You can only use this effect of Constellar Teller Knights once per turn. You can only activate one Constellar Teller Knights per turn. Or did I just read that twice? Well, whatever. So this is just pretty strong support, I guess, you know. So being able to just special summon a Teller or Constellar from either hand or graveyard is pretty nice. That's only on activation, but then every single turn you can then target a Teller Knight or Constellar XYZ monster you control, and then you just can special summon a Teller or Constellar XYZ monster with a different rank. And this does count as an XYZ summon, which means it counts as being properly summoned. So, card seems pretty good overall. I don't know what the archetype does necessarily, but those effects in general are not bad, is all I'm saying. So, for the rest of this duel, apply the following effects. You cannot activate monster effects in the hand, and you draw 2 cards instead of 1 for your normal summon, or no, for your normal draw during your draw phase, and you can conduct 2 normal summons / sets per turn, not just 1. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then discard 1 Time-Tearing Morganite. Your opponent cannot activate monster effects when you normal summon this turn. So this is actually pretty crack support for a bunch of like different niche archetypes. So being able to conduct 2 normal summons / sets per turn, this is pretty good for like a Monarchs, right? Except for this effect. I think there is a Monarch that activates in hand. I think it was like the light one. So yeah, unfortunate for that, I guess, but everything else is pretty decent. And the draw 2 cards instead of 1. I mean, that doesn't seem like it could harm you, but it's just not instantly useful, you know. But this is probably going to make like normal summon focus strategies like more viable in the future. If we start seeing more of those, they'll probably make sense, I guess. So then we have Trap Tracks. Target a monster you control, destroy it, and if you do, set 1 normal trap directly from your deck. Except for Trap Tracks, it can be activated this turn. You can only activate 1 trap card for the rest of this turn. After this card resolves, you can only activate 1 Trap Tracks per turn. So this is actually a pretty cracked card. So there was a similar card to Trap Tracks before. So notably, first off, this actually does not destroy for cost. It targets, and that's the cost. So if this gets negated, you still keep your monster at least. And it does have to destroy the monster, so you can't protect your monster and attempt to destroy it. That will not work. And then, like with Trap Trick, you can activate the trap you set off of this effect. The turn, even though it is like just the trap is set this turn, you can activate it. So the notable difference between this and Trap Trick is that if I activate Trap Track, I can just set the trap straight from my deck, right? There's a little bit of a cost here, I guess, right? But like with Trap Trick, I would need to run like 2 copies minimum, and then potentially like 3 copies. Wait a second. Oh no, I just realized something. This is awkward. This works with Samochi Burn. No, not Samochi Burn. No, that's not what it was. No, this works with Dynamite DD Dynamite burnt. Oh, even though the card's at 2. This makes it viable again. Man. This is why we can't have good things. Well, yeah. So anyways, this is more playable in a lot more decks, and this is just a lot more, like, generic, I guess, generically usable in comparison to Grip Trick. So, for example, with Eradicator Epidemic Virus being at 1, I can't really use Trap Trick to search it, and, like, if I'm not playing Labyrinth and I want to get to this, how would I get to it? Well, now I have the option of just running 3 Trap Tracks, right? And if I do open it, I can still use this to search for something else, like, yeah, worse, like an Imperm, and Imperm is just still useful. I can just use it to pop a card I've already used that I don't need the effect of anymore. Like, let's just say I'm playing this in Sword Soul for some reason. I can just use this to pop Baron straight up, like, why not? And then I can just grab, like, Imperm, or I can grab Blackout, and then Cheese Out effect. I have that still, and then I can use my Blackout, pop 2. Whatever. That's, like, a fine usage. I mean, could be better, but, you know, it's whatever. I mean, the most ideal thing you could do with this is maybe play this with, like, now that I think about it, this would be really good with Unchained, I believe. If you destroy an Unchained card, then you can probably special summon one of the bigger Unchained, and then the trap we're setting could be, like, any of the virus cards, and then we can just simply tribute the guy we summoned, and that's a pretty nice little self-contained, like, loop, I guess. So, that's pretty good, I guess, right? Doesn't seem like a big issue to me. And then we have this new card, Virtual World Tiger Fufu. So this is a rank 9 XYZ. So Virtual World hasn't had any really good rank 9s to make. So I guess this helps out with this a bit. Gains the following effects based on the number of virtual gate cards you control. 2+, this card can attack directly. 4+, this card is unaffected by activated card effects except for Virtual World cards. So that's kind of neat, I guess. Then once per turn, quick effect. You can detach a material from this card, then target one effect monster you control and one effect monster on the field with a different type and attribute from it. So, you have Worm, Earth, and then, like, Wind, Psychic, I think. So, this will probably just be able to be a monster negate, I guess. This is soft once per turn quick effect. And it'll be able to just, like, imperm one of your opponent's monsters, so doesn't seem that crazy, but doesn't seem all that bad, so whatever. So this is about the last, like, one of the last cards I've read, so yeah. Most of the rest of these I have not read. Bee-Trooper, Cruel Saturnus. You cannot special summon monsters except for insect monsters. You can only use each effect of the following effects of Bee-Trooper, Cruel Saturnus once per turn. If this card is special summon, you can add a Bee-Trooper card from your deck to your hand. If an insect monsters is banished face up, except during the damage step, you can target one of your banished Bee-Trooper monsters, special summon it. So, now that I think about it, I think I forgot to read this card. Well, whatever. Let's just do it then. You cannot special summon monsters except for fire monsters, so you're locked into fire monsters, so this is probably best played, but not necessarily required, but best played in a fire deck. Otherwise, you'd need to link this off with some kind of fire monster, which is probably doable. Hita the Fire Charmer would be a good way to do that. So it's just any effect monster plus a fire monster or something like that. So pretty doable. And then this has this effect as well. During your main phase, you can special summon a fire monster from your graveyard. If a monster is special summoned to your opponent's field while this card is in your graveyard, except during the damage step, you can target a fire monster you control and one monster your opponent controls, destroy them, and if you do, special summon this card. So notably, this card just will keep summoning itself back like this, so maybe it's good with, what are they called? Fire King? That's about all I can think of right now. It'd be good with like to play with, I guess, using this card. I mean, I just like one copy of it personally, so whatever. So then we have dual avatar manifested Aeon. Okay. This card gains the following effects based on the original names of the materials used for its fusion summon. Dual avatar empowered Kongyo. The attack of your battling dual avatar monster becomes 3,000 during damage calc only. Dual avatar empowered Mitsujaku. Once per turn. Opponent's turn. Quick effects off once per turn. Notably, right? You can target one card on the field. Banish it. Generic banish. So this is like same as the Rice Art, kind of. Okay. If this fusion summoned card is destroyed, you can special summon a dual avatar Fizz Yuhi and Kokoku from your deck, and if you do, they cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects this turn. I'll be real, not super interested in that. Teller Knight Lirin. This card is both a Constellar and a Teller Knight. Okay. If a Teller Knight or Constellar monster is normal summon to your field except for Teller Knight Lirin, you can special summon this card from your hand. So, good extender, I guess. If this card is summoned, you can add one Teller Knight spell from your deck to your hand. Does it say except for itself? Yes. Okay. So you add a Teller Knight spell from your deck to your hand. You know, use each effect of Teller Knight Lirin once per turn. Alright. Kitsune Kitsunebi. All face-up monsters on the field become fire. If your opponent has a fire monster on their field or in the graveyard while this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon this card. So that is an ignition effect, okay. Maybe this helps you out with playing Promethean Princess. I mean, I don't know. Maybe. Wannabe. During the end phase, you can send this card from your hand or field to the graveyard. Activate cards from the top of your deck equal to the number of your opponent's unused spell and trap zones. So on the first turn, that would be 5. And you can set one activated trap to your field, but send it to the graveyard during the next end phase. Also place the rest on the bottom of the deck in any order. You can only use this effect of Wannabe once per turn. Wow, this card's actually pretty disgusting, huh? So this is like Trap Prosperity. Yeah. The only thing about this is that it only activates during the end phase, so it's just more like generic, like kind of trap support, like control deck support. And it has a hard once per turn now. Wait, you can only use this effect. Does it have more than one effect? No, right? So, yeah. You can choose any of the 5, like, grab cards you see, but this is... What does it say exactly? Oh, wait. This is one excavated trap. So you can set a continuous. It will get sent to the graveyard during the next end phase, but, I mean, is that bad? Like, if I just reveal, for example, well, I excavate, like, as one of my 5, I excavate, for example, Skill Drain. I can just set Skill Drain and activate it. It'll be gone the next turn, but it's like pretty doubtful that my opponent can do anything on like turn 3 anyways after getting hit by Skill Drain, for example. So that's kind of brutal in its own way. The only thing that's weird about this is that it'll be based on your opponent's unused spell trap zones. So that's kind of weird. I don't know. Maybe it has some like versatility depending on meta, perhaps. So, I mean, you can expect that to maybe still be, like, 3 cards being excavated, like, generally, I guess. And then this card's pretty interesting. Moisa Knight, the Comet General. If you pendulum summon a monster, place this card on either the top or the bottom of the deck, and that is the Pendulum effect. When you draw this card, you can reveal it during your main phase this turn. You can conduct one pendulum summon of a monster or monsters from your hand in addition to your pendulum summon. You can only gain this effect once per turn, so... Yeah, I'm not sure if this card's good or not. It's just, like, weird. Because if you pendulum summon, then this card will be placed on either the top or bottom of the deck. then you can simply do a draw, and then it'll be in your hand. You'll draw it, you'll reveal it, and then you'll be able to conduct a pendulum summon of like just monsters from your hand. But like that's weird because if you already pendulum summoned, wouldn't your like field be like pretty cluttered with stuff? And of course you want to do like big pendulum summons. You want to set up like good pendulum summons already. So that already makes me wonder if this card is even that good, but it does have like a decently high scale at least. So interesting there. I guess. I'm not super sure if this card is, like, good or not. I don't know what deck can play this exactly. I haven't lapped it out. To, like, I mean, on paper, like, if you just hear this, right, it sounds pretty crazy. But then, like, there are things you actually have to consider, so not sure about this one. Libromancer Origin Story. When this card is activated, you insert a Libromancer spell trap directly from your deck. So this, notably, cannot be ashed, so that seems pretty crazy, I guess. Libromancer Ritual. Monsters you control gain attack equal to their own level times 100 if a ritual monster is ritual summoned to your field, except during the damage step. You can target a spell trap your opponent controls, destroy it. You can only use this effective Libromancer Origin Story once per turn. You can only activate one Libromancer Origin Story per turn. So this card just seems pretty good, you know, in general. Gets you any Libromancer spell trap. I haven't read all of the spell traps to see if there are any good targets, but yeah. This should be pretty decent. And then it just has back row removal just baked into it as like a secondary effect. Not sure if you can quick effect summon a ritual monster. Specifically has to be ritual summoned. But yeah. This can't be that bad, right? I mean, as a card, like, what looks fine to me. Sulfur Symphony. Apply these effects in sequence based on the number of face-up Sulfur Pendulum monsters with different names in your extra deck. Sulfur Pendulum monsters you control gain attack equal to their own pendulum scale times 300 this turn. You can destroy one card your opponent controls, then if you have an odd pendulum scale in your pendulum zone, draw one card. You can special summon one Grand Sulfur monster from your extra deck. You can only activate one Sulfur Symphony per turn. This will destroy one card. Quick effect, so DPE. Essentially, DPE's destruction. This does not target. That's basically what I see here. And then if you happen to have an odd pendulum scale in your pendulum zone, you draw one card. But you do require a lot of sulfur pendulum monsters with different names in your extra deck. That makes it a little weird. You need at least 5 to resolve this effect, and then I'm not sure what a Grand Sulfur monster is. But since you can special summon one from your extra deck, is this a Grand Sulfur monster? Yes, it is. So it can special summon this, I guess, right? And then what are the arrows? So on this card points. So you can, but it would be useless to do it because its arrows are bad and the effects don't like work together well. Fusion Duplication. Target a fusion or polymerization normal or quick play spell in either player's graveyard, bash that spell, then apply that spell's effect when that card is activated. Huh. This means you can activate Branded Fusion on your opponent's turn? Ah. Huh. Not sure how I feel about this. Well, I mean, alright. It's a trap. Well, we'll see when people play it, I guess. If at all. Oh, and then this card, this card's actually crazy. I think this card's fun. Okay, so I have seen this card before. You can detach one material from this card, then target one level 5 monster in either graveyard, special summon it to either field. If a face-up level 5 monster you control is destroyed by battle or leaves the field by an opponent's card effect, while you control this monster, you can add to your hand or special summon one level 5 monster from your deck. You can only use each effect of Imperial Princess Quinn Curie once per turn. So, this is obviously a good rank 5 for any like rank 5 strategy. But the interesting thing is, this works really well with Yugioh Invader. Pretty neat. And then we have Teller Knight, Altarian. If this card is summoned, you can target cards on the field up to the number of light and dark XYZ monsters you control, destroy them with Teller Knight or against Teller Knight. Wait, if this card is summoned. What was that effect? Quick effect. Going back. Do Caduceus? No. But Caduceus can apply that effect because this is just when it is summoned. Okay. Is there a hard once return on this? Yes. Okay. Destroyed Thumb. And it's just any cards on the field? Okay. If a Teller Knight or can summon monsters special summon to your field except for Teller Knight, Alterion to bring the damage step, you can special summon this card from your graveyard. Also, you cannot declare attacks for the rest of this turn except with XYZ monsters. So if you were able to quick rank up, like with Telmias, that triggers that to summon and then pop. Okay. Seems good, I guess. I don't know how it gets into the graveyard, but sure. Infinite Track Road Roller. No comment. If an Earth Machine monster is tributed or banished face off, you can special summon this card from the graveyard if it was there when the monster was tributed, or banished, or hand, even if not. But banish it when it leaves the field. You can only use this effect. If Infinite Track Road Roller once per turn, an XYZ monster whose original type is Machine and has this card as material gains this effect. Face up monsters your opponent controls are changed to defense position. Also, they lose 1,000 defense. Huh. Weird card, but it seems like useful maybe for grind game type things. Three-Eyed Ghost, you can send this card from the field to the graveyard, add a level 10 dark monster from your deck to your hand. What's this supposed to add? A level 10 dark monster? What? No idea. Harvest Angel of Doom. Random generic pendulum. Okay, during your main phase you can destroy this card, and if you do, add one Black Horn of Heaven from your deck to your hand. Wait, what? You can just do this whenever? This card seems decent now then. Huh. This card is normal Pendulum Summon. You can add a Horn of Heaven from your deck to your hand. If this card is tributed, you can place this card in your Pendulum Zone. You can only use each effective Harvest Angel of Doom once per turn. This card is the weirdest thing I've ever seen. Okay. If this card is tributed, you can place this card in your Pendulum Zone. So then it allows you to add both Black Horn of Heaven and a Horn of Heaven. I don't remember exactly which ones these were, right? Horn of Heaven. When a monster would be summoned, tribute one monster, negate the summon, and if you do destroy that monster, when your opponent would special summon exactly one monster, negate the special summon, and if you do destroy it. This card seems like decent, kind of. I don't know exactly what would play this, but like for whatever that does start trying to abuse this, this seems like decent, right? Cool. Pendulu Moon. During your main phase, you can add a face-up pendulum monster from your extra deck to your hand. So any pendulum monster that says pendulum in its name, like Pendulum Graph, I guess. Or whatever it was called. Not sure. So then this card gets destroyed. Notably scale 0. Interesting. During your main phase, you can add up to 2 face-up pendulum monsters from your extra deck to your hand with levels between the pendulum scales of the 2 cards in your pendulum zones. Also, for the rest of this turn, until you pendulum summon, you cannot activate monster effects, and the effects of any cards in your pendulum zones are negated. Pendulu Moon. Card once per turn. What does this card even do? No clue. You would normal summon this, and then you would get cards in your hand, but how would you get that many pendulum cards into your extra deck to begin with? In what, like, way? When do you use this? Not sure. I mean, overall, like, I don't know if people would summon on this necessarily, but is what it is, I guess. So that was all of the cards. in the new selection, and then I'm pretty sure there aren't any new cards, I think, in any of these, so these are all old cards. Okay. And then this as well. Right? Yeah. Except for Origin Story. Origin Story is also in the secret. Nice. And then we have the new accessories as well, and the Solar Gate. That's about everything that was just added recently. And that was all of the cards in the new selection. And I don't know. The thing about like this notably is that if you did like I don't know if there are a lot of Constellar players out there, but that's a lot of URs. Yeah. So that kind of sucks in that regard, you know. But yeah, I'll probably like do a few pulls on this just to see if I can get a few of these. Some of these might be good because Tolmaeus is technically generic, so not sure if there's a usage for it, but couldn't hurt to have it, I guess. So yeah, for now, I'll see you guys in the next video. And I'm so bad with words. Well, whatever. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.